Hello my darlings and welcome. Let me show you how to make a spell candle for the winter solstice. Use this candle in a winter solstice ritual or as a candle you've designated to represent the sun in spellwork to welcome back the sun. Let's do some magical crafting. This video is part of a candle magic series. I create 12 different spell candles and talk about the magical properties of the ingredients in each one. Spell candles are used in all kinds of magic and ritual. They're used in witchcraft, conjure, ceremonial magic, root work, and folk practices. You can add oils, herbs, crystals, colors, or symbols as you craft your candles to align with your magical goals. Most importantly, as you create your candle, infuse it with your intention. If your traditions call for it, you may wish to bless your candle, chant or speak words while creating it, invoke a deity, or pray over it. I begin by weighing out 4 ounces of soy wax. Right now, this wax is a solid. However, when it's melted, it will be a liquid. 4 ounces of solid wax will become 5 ounces of liquid wax. Search online for the wax conversion you need for the size of container you're using for your candle. I've created a Book of Shadows page for this spell candle recipe. It explains the magical correspondences of the color, the herbs, and the crystals in this candle. If you'd like to download a PDF of any and all of my grimoire pages, you can visit Magical Crafting on Patreon at the link below the video. My patrons can download recipes, Book of Shadows pages, artwork, and more, all provided as PDFs. And I continue to add new downloadable content as I do more projects on the channel. As you make your candle, melt your wax slowly over a low heat, and do not boil or burn your wax. If you see any smoke, your wax is burning. Turn the heat down. Another option to melt your wax slowly and safely is to use a double boiler setup. As you wait for the wax to melt, this is the perfect time to add your energy and intention as you stir the liquid. When making your own winter solstice spell candle, you should incorporate the ingredients that you have on hand and that provide the effects that you want in your candle. You do not have to include all of the ingredients I show in this video. As always, my tutorial should only be a starting point for you to develop your own craft. I encourage you to use what feels right for you and what you have access to. Once the wax is completely melted, it's time to add the ingredients you want inside your candle. Make sure to turn the heat off before adding anything to the wax. I'll be adding 3 spices and herbs into my wax. I chose these ingredients because they magically correspond to the winter solstice. The first ingredient is cinnamon. In magic, cinnamon is used for attracting money, prosperity, and love. It's a traditional spice and scent for the holidays. The second ingredient is cedar. Cedar is an evergreen plant used for protection and cleansing. It's also commonly used for contacting the spirit world. When creating your candles, make sure to grind up any plant matter to help it incorporate into the wax. You do not want a large flower or leaf in your wax that might catch fire and make the candle burn unevenly or unsafely. You can break them up with your fingers or use a spice grinder. The next ingredient is allspice. Allspice is most commonly used in money magic as it attracts prosperity, wealth, luck, and success in business. It also has magical correspondences with fertility and renewal. You may wish to add an essential oil or a perfume oil to scent your candle. This is an optional step as many people like to leave their candles unscented for many reasons, including potential allergies. I'm using peppermint essential oil. This will bring the magical qualities of peppermint into the candle and my home. Peppermint is often used to attract wealth as well as bringing clarity and happiness. This plant ally boosts magical energy. Once you've included the ingredients you want inside the candle, it's time to add a color. I'm using a color that corresponds to the season. In this case, for Yule and the Winter Solstice, I'm adding several drops of red dye to create a dark red candle. In color magic, the color red corresponds to passion, love, and lust. Work with red to boost strength and vitality. The wax will lighten as it cools, which will lighten whatever color you've added. Make sure to add enough colorant to the wax to make the liquid appear darker than the final color you desire. Next, it's time to pour the wax into the container you're using to hold your candle. Make sure that you use a fire-safe container. Never use plastic or anything flammable. I've chosen this jar that has a wide opening so that I can add my ingredients on the top of the candle artfully to make it aesthetically pleasing. It's easy to fill and not likely to tip over when lit for fire safety. I'm putting a small piece of double-sided tape on the bottom of my candle wick to stick it to the jar. I'm using 2 chopsticks, one on each side of the wick, and a binder clip to ensure that the wick stays centered in the jar and create a straight up and down wick that will not droop. You can also tie the wick to a chopstick or skewer or use a clothespin to hold the wick, whatever you have at home that works with your container. Then slowly and carefully pour the wax in and scoop in any of the ingredients that have settled to the bottom. Once the jar is filled with wax, I make sure that all of the allspice berries are arranged around the edges of the jar so that they're not too close to the wick and the candle flame when lit. Leave your candle to cool and for the wax to firm up. The wax in my 5-ounce candle becomes somewhat firm in about an hour. The amount of time will vary depending on the size of your candle. Once the wax is cooled, you can add ingredients to the top of the candle. I like to use a heat tool to melt a little bit of the surface wax to adhere glitter and gemstones to the top. I love to add glitter to all of my crafts. I decided to use a pale coral red glitter on the top of this candle. I'm also adding malachite gemstones to the top of the candle. Malachite opens the heart to unconditional love. It encourages emotional healing and physical recovery from illness. Malachite is a stone that promotes empathy with others, perfect for the holidays, and a striking green against the red of the candle. I'm adding a small pine cone to the top to represent evergreens. Evergreens are ancient symbols of nature's hardiness due to their ability to retain their leaves throughout the cold winter. Hang boughs of evergreen in your home, especially pine, spruce, and fir, to bring about protection, fertility, and good luck. Make sure to place any flammable material around the edges of the container away from the flame so it's less likely to catch on fire. A candle created magically in your sacred space and with great intention can bring extra power and purpose to your magic. There are many ways to use your spell candle. It's perfect to burn during the winter season in a winter solstice ritual. Midwinter provides a quiet time to be mindful and reflect on the past and set goals and intentions for the coming months. Use this candle in moments of reflection or journaling. The winter solstice marks a turning point in the seasons, a turning away from the darkness of winter, slowly towards the light of spring. Winter solstice is celebrated as it heralds the rebirth of the sun, and this candle can be incorporated as a symbol of the sun or the light. Focus energy towards visualizing your goals happening as you light your candle and as it burns. When the candle has completely burned through, you may wish to remove the gemstones, which are now infused with the energy of your intention. Keep them and use them in further magical workings, or give them back to the earth. Always practice fire safety when burning any candles. I've left some important fire safety tips below the video.